It is time to take a look at the books coming out this Wednesday, February 2nd, so I can tell you what I'm getting. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. So if you're new here, welcome. And if not, welcome back. Now, this channel is full of comic book unboxings and reviews, haul videos, and videos like this one where I tell you what I'm buying each week and helping you make decisions as well while we all try to stay under budget together. So if you're interested in that type of content, hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell icon. That way you're notified when new videos go live. It's an exciting week, although a light week for comics this week, at least for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through this list and tell you what I'm getting. I usually like to start with the book that I'm most excited for. Before I do, quick shout out to Ultimate Comics, the sponsor of this video series. They are my LCS. I live in the Raleigh area in North Carolina, and they've got 4 locations in our area. In Raleigh, in Durham, in Cary, and a brand new location in the Crabtree Valley Mall. By the way, the the Crabtree location is relocating. So they're moving basically a few suites down in the mall. So they are going to be closed if you're watching this from January 31st up until Friday, I believe is the 4th of February. They're going to be closed. They're going to reopen on Friday. New location, new digs, more space, new stuff. It'll be fun. So check that out if you are in the Raleigh area, if you have not been to the Crabtree location yet. It's really dope. Lots of Funko Pops, lots of posters, cool collectible items, and of course, comic books. Now, if you're not local to our area, no worries. You can shop twice a week at the Ultimate Comics live show on Facebook or on their website at ultimatecomics.com all the time. So anyway, thanks so much to Ultimate Comics for sponsoring this video. Now let's talk about what I'm getting. Because this week, like I said, is a light week, but there are a lot of books that I'm really excited about. None more so than this week's pick of the week. That would be Dark Knights of Steel, issue number 4. Dark Knights of Steel by Tom Taylor with Yasmin Putri has been incredible. It's going to be a 12-issue limited series, but each month's installment has just been super, super dope. So it's like the DC universe with like a Game of Thrones type of skin on top of it, but it's just really, it feels really fresh, really new, really creative. As for someone like me who didn't watch Game of Thrones, it's just a whole new concept. We've got these different kingdoms in the DC universe. We're starting to see, how the DC universe feels about Kryptonians and how this whole war is shaping up. And there are some players that are getting taken off of the table, right? They're taken off the playing field that you're not expecting. So I'm really excited. It's Tom Taylor doing his Elseworlds thing where no character is safe, and it's just super fun. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm just getting the cover A. Next up from DC Comics is Batman, issue 120. Batman by Joshua Williamson has been great. We've got this new villain, the Abyss, and also we're having this whole plot shaken up with Lex Luthor and him taking over Batman Inc. It's just been really interesting. I feel like we didn't get the same Lex Luthor that I thought we were gonna get, but it's been a pretty dope series so far. I'm excited for this story arc and to see where Batman goes after this. But this has got a cover price of $4.99. And I'm getting the cover A. And next up, speaking of Batman, we've also got an issue of Detective Comics this week because they're still doing this weekly series by Mariko Tamaki. But Detective Comics issue 1051 is out this week. Now, I've been getting these Liber Mayho cover Bs here recently, and I'm definitely getting this one as well. Loving the series so far. It's had its ups and downs, but it's an enjoyable take on Gotham and Batman's supporting cast. I love getting a good supporting cast story, especially when Batman's doing well on his own in his own title. So that's been interesting. It's got a cover price of $4.99. I'm just getting the cover A. And the last book on my DC Comics pull list is a brand new #1. I don't know if I'm going to stick with the series, but I'm definitely going to grab this #1 for Monkey Prince. The Monkey Prince #1 by Jean Lin Yang, artwork by Bernard Chang. So I believe that's going to be a beautiful book. Now, I've not read anything by Jean Lin Yang that I didn't like. This is the guy who did Superman Smashes the Klan. He did Batman Superman ever since Infinite Frontier started with the whole time traveling storyline. He's done a lot of really cool stuff. But those are the two books that I've read by him, and I've really enjoyed them. This Monkey Prince character just seems like really fun. Like his power set includes like being able to clone himself from a single hair. Like it just seems like one of those outrageous books. And if you look at some of the covers for upcoming issues, it looks like he's going to be kind of traveling through the DC universe. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I'm hoping that issue 1 is fun and hooks me. But that's got a cover price of $3.99. And I'm just getting the cover A on that. So that's it for the DC Comics pull list this week. Like I said, a light week. I'm looking at spending $18 this week on my DC books. Now let's jump over to Marvel. Marvel, I've only got 3 books on my pull list this week. The first of which being The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 88. We have reached chapter 14 of this Beyond storyline. And don't get me wrong, this is the most excited I've been about Spider-Man since I got into comics, right? Nick Spencer's run was so up and down and then just down for me that this Beyond story arc was like a breath of fresh air. The only thing that's really dragging it down for me is the fact that it's a weekly series. We've had 14 straight weeks of Spider-Man, and then not to mention the tie-ins. Like last week, we had the Mary Jane and Black Cat tie-in, which was good. It was a nice, fun story, but I didn't feel like it added anything. I remember I read Spider-Man before I read Mary Jane and Black Cat, and they referenced Mary Jane and Black Cat. So I was like, oh, I must need that issue. So I went and picked it up. And then in Mary Jane and Black Cat, they referenced Spider-Man. It's almost like the stories were happening at the same time, and you didn't even need to read one before the other. And so then I just felt like I got suckered into spending more money. Speaking of getting suckered into spending more money, this one's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm getting cover A. Next up, a brand new number 1 from Marvel Comics, Sabretooth issue number 1. Now, Sabretooth was taken off the table way back at the end of House of X Powers of 10. And now apparently he's back. If he already made his re-emergence in Krakoa, I haven't read the issue. So I'm curious to see how he's come back from, his imprisonment under Krakoa and what he's going to be doing over the course of this series. I believe it's a 5-part miniseries. But hey, they've got me. They've got me. So that's got a cover price of $4.99. I'm getting cover A. And speaking of Sabretooth, you can't talk Sabretooth without talking Wolverine. And this week we are getting the 10 Lives of Wolverine issue number 2. Now, 10 Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine is, kind of a Hoxpox style series where it's 2 series that are one. They all flow together. So this is continuing from the X Deaths of Wolverine from last week, which was really a Moira McTaggart focused issue that I really liked. But going back to the 10 Lives of Wolverine number 1 that we got the week before, it's kind of confusing. We're trying to figure out how is Wolverine jumping along in time? What's happening? Is this like Days of Future Past again? Like, why does Wolverine need to travel to save Professor X? And so I'm curious to see how this ties into that, if this is going to just pick up directly from 10 Lives from 2 weeks ago, or if we're going to pick up from X Deaths last week. Either way, they've got me for these 12 weeks that they're going to have me. That's got a cover price of $4.99, and I'm getting cover A. And that's it for the Marvel Comics pull list. If I just stick to that list, I'm spending $14 on my Marvel books this week. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now let's move on to the indies, the smaller publishers, creator-owned titles and things like that. There's only 2 on my list this week. The first of which is Spawn, issue number 326. Spawn is one of those titles that just stays on the pull list because it's so cheap. Spawn's got a cover price of $2.99. They're doing cardstock covers, really, really great artwork in each issue. The story is kind of like take it or leave it, but it has been better as of late. Ever since the new Spawn's universe started, I feel like each book is compelling in its own way. But the most compelling part of it for me is the artwork. And speaking of artwork, look at this cover B by Carlo Barberi. That's definitely the one I'm going to grab. And it's only got a cover price of $2.99. So how can you say no? Now, next up from Image Comics and Skybound Studios is The Walking Dead Deluxe. We are on issue number 32. This is a full color deluxe reprint of the original Walking Dead series that kind of took the world by storm and put Robert Kirkman like firmly planted on the map. This is a series that I'm reading for the first time, and my overall plan for these issues, as often as they put them out, is eventually I'm going to collect them into custom bound hardcovers. And I think that just be a really nice collection piece. So I've been, picking them up. I hope they don't cancel it and make me regret all of these pickups, but it's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm getting the David Finch cover A. And that's it for the indie books this week that I'm grabbing. So my indie total is just $7 this week, which brings me to a grand total of $39 before my 10% subscriber discount, as well as any taxes. So not bad. I'm $10 under budget this week. And it's pretty good because I need to buy some bags and boards. And there are some books from 2 weeks ago that never made it to my shop that are finally going to arrive this week. So I'll use that extra budget room to pick those up and so on. So it works out. It works out. Now, there are a few books that are noticeably absent from my pull list this week. I think starting with Nocterra issue 7. Now, I had been picking up Nocterra in singles, but I never got around to reading it. And then I bought a trade paperback, like, oh, I'll read this real quick. Read the first issue, set it down, and here we are in this never-ending abyss. So I figured, as long as it's taking me to read this book, I might as well just trade weight the series. And so I'm not going to pick up issue number 7. However, if you're interested, it is going to be starting a brand new story arc. So, do with that information what you will. I'm also not picking up the Geiger 80-page giant. I did pick up the first 6 issues of Geiger, and this, seems like a celebration of that. But with a $7.99 cover price, it's just not something I'm willing to do in a light week. And then following along those same lines, there's a book coming out from Image called The Official Image Timeline #1. I believe this is a one-shot. I don't think there's going to be more than one issue, but it's like a 64-page giant by Jim Valentino detailing the chronology of Image, from the founding to its expansion and all the different titles they've been putting out over the years. Honestly, it sounds like a really interesting and compelling read. I love the Image founding story, and I would love to see how the company evolved over the years. But with a cover price of $7.99, and I feel like this is just dying to be collected into some sort of a hardcover, I'm like, I'll wait for a more premium version of it that I'm actually prepared to read and sit and enjoy. But those are some interesting books coming out this week. They're not the only ones. So take a look at the full list of comic releases at comicsaredope.com. The link's in the description below. I want to know what you're buying this week, so let me know in the comments. And what am I crazy for not picking up? Probably still won't pick it up, but let me know. But anyway, that's going to do it for me in this video. I hope you saw something you liked. And if not, hey, that's cool. So you can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.